Distinguished shareholders, ladies and gentlemen, it is with pleasure that I welcome you to this 52nd annual general meeting of our company, Royal Exchange PLC. In view of the pandemic and in accordance with the approval of the Corporate Affairs Commission on the guidelines on holding annual general meetings of public companies and the Nigerian Stock Exchange, the attendance of this meeting is by proxy. In addition, the meeting is being streamed live to enable shareholders, regulators, and others who are not physically present to follow the proceedings. I would like the company secretary to confirm that we have a quorum for this meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In accordance with Section 256 of the Company Allied Matters Act 2020 and Article 46, Sub 2 of the Article and Association of the Company, the quorum for this meeting is 3 members present in person or by proxy holding or representing not less than half of the issued capital. With your permission, sir, I'll ask the registrar to confirm the proxy attendance at this meeting.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, the Board of Directors, regulators present, and distinguished shareholders. For this meeting, we received 69 proxies amounting to 3,397,756,090 units of Royal Exchange PLC shares. This constitutes 66.04% of the company's paid-up share capital. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you. Having confirmed that we have a quorum for the meeting, I now declare the meeting open. May I please call Mr. Boniface Okezie to say an opening prayer. Please rise.
Gracious Father, we thank you, ancient of the days. Blessed be your name, make it possible for us to gather this morning, even to look and discuss the affair of this great company. Lord, we ask for you to be the chairman, chairing this meeting successfully. At the end, everyone will go here rejoicing. And by the time we come here next year, it will be a different story. Father, we need profitability, we need to go with dividend. These are many of us through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Okezie. It is necessary to draw the attention of shareholders to the measures we have taken as a responsible corporate citizen due to the pandemic. In compliance with the federal and state directives, we have taken several precautionary measures, including the provision of hand sanitizers, nose masks, and gloves at this meeting, as well as the checking of body temperatures at the entrance and ensuring social distancing between attendees. Before we proceed to the formal business of the day, I'd like to introduce to you the directors of your company. I will start with my humble self, Kenny Odogu. I'm Group Chairman of Royal Exchange PLC. To my right is Mr. Hewitt Benson, who's an independent director. Yes. And to my left, a representative of the company's secretary, Ms. Ngozika Onu. Take it. Thank you. As you can see, I'm in good hands. In view of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, some of your directors are joining the meeting virtually from their various locations, and we sincerely apologize for that. These directors are as follows: Chief Anthony Idigbe, SAN. Alhaji Rufai Mohammed. Mr. Yinka Ojera. Also present at this meeting are your representatives on the Audit Committee, Alhaja Ayodele Sarat Kudaisi, Mr. Bekumi Akinsholu, Mr. Olawiyi Tajudeen Alabi. We also have the following representative present at this meeting. Mr. Bonaventure Onwuji, representing the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Mrs. Yetunde Odetayo, representing the external auditors, Deloitte & Touche. Mrs. Rosemary Census, representing the Securities and Exchange Commission. The representative of the Corporate Affairs Commission, I'm told we're expecting them. And we'd also like to recognize the registrars, Cardinal Stone registrars. Thank you. The management of the company are also present at this meeting to my right. I also wish to introduce the shareholders present who are also acting as proxies to shareholders. They are Chief Sir Sonny Nwosu, KSS. Mr. Boniface Okezie. Mrs. Oludewa Thorpe. Mrs. Adetutu Siombola. Miss Ngozika Onu Mazaz Ojike and partners again. I also wish to announce that in compliance with Section 109 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, the Registrar of Directors' holdings will be available for inspection at this meeting. To facilitate the smooth conduct of our meeting, I would request that those who wish to speak should indicate by a show of hands. Please, when called upon to speak, state your name audibly and clearly before you make your comments. I call upon the representative of the Company Secretary to read the notice convening the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Notice of Annual General Meeting. Notice is hereby given that the 52nd Annual General Meeting of Royal Exchange PLC will be held virtually at the Operations Office, Royal Exchange PLC, 34 to 36 Oshodi Apapa Expressway, Charity Bus Stop, Lagos, on Thursday, October 28, 2021 at 10 o'clock in the forenoon to transact the following businesses. Ordinary business, to lay before the meeting the consolidated financial statement of the group for the year ended December 31st, 2020, together with the report of the directors, the audit committee, and the auditors thereon. 2, to re-elect directors. 3, to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors. 4, to disclose the remuneration of managers. 5, to elect shareholders as members of the statutory audit committee. By the order of the board, signed, Company Secretary, Mazo Ojike and Partners, New African House, 31 Marina, Lagos, dated October 1st, 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Onu. Before we proceed to the first item on the agenda, let me present to you the chairman's statement contained in pages 18, 19, and 20, and 21 of the annual report and financial statement already circulated to shareholders. With your permission, I request that the chairman's statement be taken as read. Thank you. Thank you, distinguished shareholders. The first item on the agenda is to lay before the meeting the consolidated financial statements of the group for the year ended December 31st, 2020, together with the reports of the directors, audit committee, and external auditors thereon. You have all received the annual reports and financial statements for the year ended December 31, 2020, together with the reports of the external auditors and the audit committee thereon. I take it that we have read the annual reports for the year ended December 31, 2020, together with the reports of the external auditors and the audit committee thereon. I would now like to formally lay before the meeting the annual reports and the financial statements for the year ended December 31, 2020, together with the reports of the external auditors and the audit committee. The original accounts and copies duly signed are available at this meeting for verification. I now call on the representative of the external auditors to read the report of the external auditors to the members. The representative of Deloitte and Touche, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, esteemed directors and shareholders. The audit report is on pages 48 and 52. So I'll crave your indulgence to take the first two paragraphs and the last paragraph. Once again, my name is Yetubi Odetayo, representing Deloitte. Independent Auditors Report to the shareholders of Real Exchange PLC. Report on the audit of the consolidated and separate financial statements. We have audited the financial statements of Real Exchange PLC and its subsidiaries, the group and the company, set out on pages 53 to 178, which comprise the consolidated and separate financial statements of the financial position as of 31st December 2020, and the consolidated and separate statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, consolidated and separate statement of changes in equity, and consolidated and separate statement of cash flows for the year then ended. The notes to the consolidated and separate financial statements, including a summary of the significant accounting policies. In our opinion, the consolidated and separate financial statements give a true and fair view of the consolidated and separate financial position of Real Exchange PLC as of 31st December 2020, and its consolidated and separate financial performance and consolidated and separate statement of cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with the International Financial Reporting Standards, the requirements of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, and the Financial Reporting Council Act. Basis for our opinion. We conducted our audit in accordance with the international standards of auditing. Our responsibility on those statements are further described in the auditor's responsibilities in the audit of financial statements section of our reports. We are independent of the group and the company in accordance with the requirements of the International Ethics Standards Board for Accountants, International Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants, including International Independent Standard, and other independent requirements applicable to performing audits of financial statements in Nigeria. We have fulfilled our other ethical responsibility in accordance with the code and other ethical requirements that are relevant to our audit of the consolidated financial statements in Nigeria. We believe that the report, the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. The last paragraph of page 52, report on other legal and regulatory requirements. In accordance with the fixed schedule of the Company and Allied Matters Act, we expressly state as follows. One, we have obtained the information and explanation which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, one necessary for the purpose of our audits. Two, the group has kept proper books of accounts so far as appears from our examination of those books. Three, the group and the company's financial position and its statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income are in agreement with the books of accounts and return. 4, as disclosed in note 62, the group paid 7.6 million for the contravention of regulatory requirements in the year. This report is signed on behalf of Deloitte and Touche, dated 29 September 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Yetunde Odetayo. I now call on Alhaja A.S. Kudaisi, the chairperson of the Audit Committee, to read the report of the Audit Committee to the members.
In accordance with Section 404, subsection 7 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act C-20, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, year 2004, the Act, we, the members of the Audit Committee, have reviewed and considered the financial statements of the company for the year ended 31st December 2020, and the report thereon and confirm as follows. A, the accounting and reporting policies of the company and group are in accordance with legal requirements and agreed ethical practices. B, the scope and planning of both the external and internal audit for the year ended 31st December 2020 was satisfactory and reinforced the group's internal control systems. C, we have reviewed the findings on management matters in conjunction with the external auditors and are satisfied with the response of the management thereof. D, the company's systems of accounting and internal controls were adequate. E, after due consideration, the committee accepted the report of the auditors that the financial statements were in accordance with ethical practice and international financial reporting standards, IFRS. The committee therefore recommends that the audited financial statements for the period ended 31st December 2020 and the auditor's report thereon be presented for adoption by the company at the annual general meeting. The report was signed by my humble self, and the other member of the committee are Mr. T. Olawuyi, Mr. B. Akinsholu, Chief A.I. Idigbe San, Mr. A.A. Ojora, Mr. Hewett Benson. Thank you.
Thank you, Alhaja Kodaisi. I shall be pleased to receive any questions you may have on the reports and financial statements, together with the audit and profit and loss for the year ended December 31, 2020. The reports of the auditors there are now before the meeting. If you have any questions, it will help to ensure that we give the right answers. If you could also refer to the pages on the annual report. Madam, please go ahead and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, board members, regulatory authorities here present, my fellow distinguished shareholders, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Barrister Detu Tushio. I have the following observations, comments, questions, and suggestions on our annual reports. I want to start on page 8, results at a glance, and income. grew by 10% from 14.9 billion naira to 16.3 billion naira in the year under review. Profit before tax grew by 113% from negative 1.01 billion naira to positive 130.04 million naira in the year under review. Loss after tax declined by 74% from negative 1.3 billion naira to negative 77.1 million naira in the year under review. Shareholders' fund declined by 8% from 3.98 billion naira to 3.7 billion naira in the year under review. Earnings per share in naira basic grew by 70% from negative 26 naira to negative 8 naira. I observe that we are coming out of losses gradually with these results. I want to seize this opportunity to encourage the board and the management team for their efforts and implore them to do more to return our company back to dividend-paying company. On page 23 and 24, attendance at board meetings and board committee meetings is good but can be better. On page 39 and 40, item 4.2, directors' interest and shareholding. I observed that 3 out of 5 directors have our shares attached to their names directly or indirectly. On page 40, item 4.3, resignations. I observed that Mr. Wale Banmore, resigned his appointment as the Group Managing Director on the 31st of December 2020. I want to seize this opportunity to thank him for his meritorious service to our company and wish him the very best in his future endeavor. On page 42, item 8, donations. I observe that our donations in the year under review cannot serve as CSR because it's centered on health. Next time, we should extend it to education, social welfare, youth empowerment, and community development. On page 53, consolidated statements of financial position. Trade receivables under assets went up from 118.4 million naira to 136.1 million naira in the year under review. Why is it increasing when the slogan in the insurance parlance is no premium, no cover? On page 135, note 47, management expenses. Stationaries went up from 1.6 million naira to almost 2 million naira in the year under review. Why the increase when every company is going paperless? Fine paid and contravention went up from 1.4 million naira to 6.2 million naira. I just want to suggest that we should assign a staff in the legal department as our compliance officer. Thank you for the opportunity given to me.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think I'll just quickly answer some of those. Okay, no problem. Let me just take a few more, then I'll respond to everything together. Mr. Boniface, please go ahead.
The chairman of Royal Exchange PLC, other directors of our company, fellow distinguished shareholder, good morning. My name is Okezia Boniface. Mr. Chairman, I am not going to take much of the time by the earlier speaker, but I just want to point some things out, to tell us where we are I know there's a plan to recapitalize our company. Where are we now? Have the money come in? And if it has come in, have you gotten the approval for Nikon? And if approval have been gotten, have you deployed the money? Because I'm coming. Don't throw me a page, I'm coming. Mr. Chairman, this is very, very important because we can't be coming here year in, year out without having something to share in terms of dividend payout. That's the sense of investments. We thank God, like the speaker, we made about 130 million profit, which is a good one, from the loss of 1.20 billion previous year, 2019. That means things are looking up. And I know if that money has come in and be deployed, would have having dividend to share today. That's the truth. But they can't deploy it until you got the approval finally from the regulators. So if the money have come in, because it's stated here that investors are coming in and are putting down their money, what is the delay in getting that approval? Because I believe that Nikon should be proactive in giving you approval. Since they initiated the move for recapitalization, and Royal Exchange being proactive as they are, they didn't wait because it's a suspended and given time frame. But I think we have gone ahead of them to make that full plan. We need to tell us in nutshell how that money has come in actually, and that the approval has been given. That is all waiting to deploy that money. Because if you deploy it, and the management begin to work on it, the story will be different. We can't come here and go empty-handed. Mr. Chairman, on page 119, 119 in the account I have here, if you look at what we are paying to Nikon as Nikon levy, it put me off balance. Mr. Chairman, 118 million, 1.118 as against 105. If this money today is being shared as, we can go home at least 2 kobo. Because they let everybody take their own. It's only the shareholder that goes and offers. Mr. Chairman, that is not good enough. What's good to the goose, good to the gender. Let those who have paid contributed for the growth of the company, have something to take home. That's good. Because if the regulator will be servicing or oiling their decisions, and the shareholder will go empty-handed, it doesn't speak well of the company. Mr. Chairman, like I said earlier, deposit for shares, we have seen it. Staff payable is also going up. Unclaimed dividend, Mr. Chairman, 57.8 million. And I hope that this money is still with the company, have not returned to the regulatory bodies who want to claim this money by all means. Because these are disputed monies, shares, or some people who have interest that you not yet to resolve. Because you need to give account detail of the movement of such money. It must be in the company custody so that when the dispute are resolved, you are able to give the people who owns those money. Mr. Chairman, and that money must also be deployed to be bringing money, interest, accrued to it. So that money should not be taken away because it's the company that will be accountable for it. It's not regulator. So don't be pushed for them to take away this money. At the end of the day, it is not them to answer or what happened to the money. When the issue is resolved, you are able to, company will be able now to give those who are responsible for that money. It's very, very important. We must keep that in mind. Apart from that, I don't think we'll have any other unclaimed dividend issue, apart from that particular one. Mr. Chairman, others are trade payables. I can understand 7.9 million as against 0.4. These are things. Our money are going flying out there and there to other regulatory agencies. Mr. Chairman, we need to also watch it. Look at trust fund. This trust fund, are they still in existence? Trust fund, are they still in existence? But those are meant for staff those days, when the staff are paying their payees, being dotted and take the trust fund. Is that company alive? At the end, the staff will not be able to be answered. People will go in there, and the company will be dotting money and paying the trust fund. It becomes problem. Since we have a trust fund in the insurance sector today, I believe that we should be able to channel those money to other company that's doing very well. Because Royal Change is a group of companies, financial institutions, that can able to keep money such a fund, so that when the staff retire, they're able to get their money back, instead of going to a government-established institution that they will not have their money. We need to be careful, because the Nigerians want money by all means, government agencies. But when people who own this money retire, they will not be able to get into their hands. It becomes a problem. So, and that's why Royal Change are a group of companies, financial institutions. We should be able to have such a thing in-house, so that you manage it properly, so that when people retire, go back home, they're able to fall on their investments. Mr. Chairman, if I go by Chairman's statement on page 20, claims have been cured. Claims, that's page 20, total claims incurred. Next one. Mr. Chairman, it's also a good one when you are paying claims, because that's the hallmark of business. If you don't pay claims, then you are not fit, you are not what it exists as a company, insurance company. Claim is very, very important. And that's your confidence people have in the great company. We want to commend you. Even the NSAS have been double these things. The NSAS that witness also double insurance payout to claims. And that's why people insured. And when things comes unexpectedly, the insurance have to pay those that money, whether they are the cost or not. You are taking people's money. But I want to commend the Royal to be one of the companies that's still paying claims. Every outstanding, we must make sure that when verified, those claims are paid out. Even if we shareholders are not having our own, but let our company still being a growing concern. When the auditors raise issue of deficit, whatever, the chairman, that also account of if there's a money have been raised in, we shouldn't be talking about any deficit from the shareholders fund. We should be able to be proactive and have those money, so that the issue of incurring loss will be a thing of the past. The capitalization plan. Mr. Chairman, that's your statement also telling us that yes, Royal Change Insurance have a new foreign investors in the name of IF from Switzerland and Afri Investments, 5 from Tunisia. The strategic investors came in with the value addition apart from the capital injected into our general insurance businesses. Mr. Chairman, you need to explain further to us on this chairman statement here on page 20. That's earlier my questions. Mr. Chairman, like our microfinance, what is fate of that institutions? Today, MPF is doing very well, quoted at the stock exchange. If our microfinance is doing very well, it should be quoted at the stock exchange on its own. We need to bring the capable hand to run this institution, rather than taking away from the other one that are contributing. The life is also up today, doing very well. I know. General is doing very well. Mr. Chairman, with this money in place, we know that this company will be able to withstand any shock within the industry. So our microfinance must also up and doing, contributing. That's the sense of having group. If they contribute, pay their dues to the group, then you're able to pay, the parents company will be able to pay dividend. Because as a group, you have less to do. It is the group, the society will rely upon. Our people say, when you harvest palm fruit, there's the one that brings more oil. There's one that does not bring more oil. If you blend them together, you have a full of drum of oil. So if the subsidiary will be up and doing, issue of coming here empty-handed every year will be taken of the past. Let us also make plans to make way to re-engineer them. Not even putting much money when it does say returns. I don't believe in that. We must give them a tax. Every management you deployed upon, the managing director must be up and doing. If they are not, then fire them. And advertise a good hand to employ people We don't just have the subsidiary, we not contributing to the growth of the company. What are we talking about? Royal changes have come of age. For her here to talking excuses of non-dividend payout. Mr. Chairman, let us show the light. Royal Change has come of age as a financial conglomerate We should be able to do in every department we are saying we are in. Mr. Chairman, don't put more money in this sector, on those subsidiaries if they're not performing. We scrap them away. They're having to, book paradigm and this and that. We don't have anything in return to show for it. Mr. Chairman, lastly, as I said, I don't want to take your time. Lastly, Mr. Chairman, on page 135, I want to dwell on that, 135. I want to commend our auditors, but then something struck me there on page 135. I don't know why all the increase was in there on page 135, even though our overall administrative expenses was low compared with the previous years. But I have to give kudos to the company, the way we have managed the resources. We are not flamboyant as such. If we can able to make some almost 1 billion, 8% increase on turnovers, but despite that, we have 2.27 billion. That's for the group. The company 273 million, as against 379. That's management expenses, Mr. Chairman, on that page 135. I want to commend the company for being that prudent at the way it is. At least we have managed the resources we have. If you look at auditors' fees, Mr. Chairman, auditors' fees, that's why I'm commending them. Even though they added 600,000, 8,600,000 as against 8 million previous. You look at the group, which also gone up. But I want to also appeal with them to show restraint. Let the company, they are doing a great job, but let the company also bounce back fully before this astronomical increase. But my fear is on legal fees, Mr. Chairman. On legal fees, we need to also watch that. Legal fees is going up, is growing up. Is it because of the capitalization plans and those who coming in that throw this in up? We need to watch that. Another also accounting consulting fees. Mr. Chairman, this is also worrisome. I don't understand this. Accounting consulting fee again. We have account consulting fee. We have the auditors who did the accounting, consulting. Which one is this? Is it the one that bringing the foreign investors, the consulting fees? I can't comprehend them, Mr. Chairman. We need to be more prudent on those areas. All these ways of taking money out, consulting this and that. The Nikon will tell you, have this consulting. Say, we ask you, have this consulting to pay for their cronies and the third parties. It's not good enough. Mr. Chairman, we must also watch finance cost. Look at finance cost right. Zero there. Finance cost, we need to watch that. It's also gone up. Power charges. Hi, that one have gone up. Power, electricity. Mr. Chairman, that's the country we are. You are paying tax to government, whether you make profit or not. But nobody will provide you power. Even when they're metering you, when there's no light, you run a generator. That's cost of these things, Mr. Chairman. But as a company running finance, you can't say today, you should ask your own private powerhouse to run these things. It's not good. You have to depend on public. But where it's not available, you go on diesel. You see what's causing you here, Mr. Chairman, but we need to watch those ones. When there's no work is out, there's no people using the premise, let them switch off everything so that we don't continue to consume this kind of power here. It's too much, Mr. Chairman. Software expenses, I think that one is good to make us so that I can see what the pandemic has done. People work from home. If you have a good computer, our system is work up and doing. Everywhere in the world, you can reach out to your client, service them. I think that is very commendable so that we don't have obsolete work equipment in terms of software. Mr. Chairman, marketing expenses, I have already there. Marketing expenses. we should also watch that. And advertisement, I have not seen much of recent in Royal Exchange, either by TV, advert, or whatever. If we are spending such an advert, we should be able to showcase the product of this company. A reputable televisions, like Arise Television, CNN, let's see it, showcase what Royal is up in doing in terms of financial landscape, If I have that, I won't be quarreling, Mr. Chairman, this is the area which I looked up to now. Chairman, you are doing well. I want to commend the management and...
Thank you, Mr. President.
Sheila have left the high table now.
Oh, yes.
I want to commend her for service she rendered as company secretary. And I believe these partners will also serve us well.
Thank you very
Sheila
much,
was
Mr.
there
President.
for us, even when we without access to chairman. We will fall to Sheila to
Yes.
get more information.
Yes.
But I hope she will also contribute where she is today
Yes.
for the good of this company. God bless us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kezia. I appreciate that. Thank you. Can we please go? Thank you, Mr. Kezia. Can we please go to Mr. If you don't mind, let me go back to the other side. Mr. Okay, you can go ahead, Mr. Musaniwosu. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I am just preparing to leave before you call me because it's a big respect I have for you and Sheila. I have a board meeting and I told her I will be here for 1 hour. So Boniface has taken all the time, even after accusing her. And I spoke with him. I told him about my predicament. But however, you have a comprehensive report from us already, which was passed to Sheila, according to the dictate of NGX. So that I will just take few items which I have highlighted.
I didn't see that report anyway, but...
Where you find out from her.
Okay.
Let me quickly go to page 29 of the annual report. The full reporting of this annual report is very, very excellent because it's of full disclosure. I want to look at the risk element which have been showcased on page 28, 29, and 30. And I just want to pick 1 or 2 items there. The capital management approach. And that's where the information here is not complete. If we take the capital management approach, the end result or the end statement there should tell us we have fully complied with NICOM regulation. But it's not written there. And that's an answer that the chairman must answer. The chairman must give to us. Where are we? If 30-30 and 40, it means we are talking about 100% of the capital. Where are we, minority shareholders? So you need to give us hope that we have met the regulatory requirement of NICOM. The second one I want to also highlight here, which is very good, is the agricultural insurance that we took. So I think it's bringing in a lot of results because in one of the sectorial analysis here, I discovered that it went into billions or something as against what it was initially. I can't remember the page, but I saw it in the annual report that it's actually progressing very well. And for any product that is progressing very well, we must put more effort and emphasis on it to grow it further. So, Mr. Chairman, I also want to look at the profit and loss position of, before then, I also want you to look at page 23. I think I'll be more comfortable. Thank you. Yes, I also want us to look at page 23, where we have the board. The board of directors here. You can see the attendance level. Some made 40%, some made 50%. But acceptable percentage on board attendant and committee attendant should be 75%. So whatever is the problem that has actually stopped them from meeting all this, as chairman, please look into it and let them show more commitment to the dictate of the meetings. But however, one of the also very important thing here is that we should, by the end of, I think, next year, ensure that we have 3 independent non-executive directors. We're actually having one now. So, because the dictate of CAMA 2020 says there should be at least 3 independent non-executive directors in a company. So it's also an important thing for us to look at. Mr. Chairman, Boniface and Adetutu has said it all. Any company, 2-3 years, there is no dividend, it's not profitable to the shareholders. It is very important, and if you look at whatever we have that have been reported in this annual report, even with the profit, the earning, retained earning went further wider. The retained earning as at the previous year was about 13 billion, and this time is 14 plus. So it has made mess of the profit that we have achieved for the year. So we have to look into all this issue. And I'm recommending that we need to also see how we can jungle the finances of the company to reduce the level of retained earning. In the profit and loss, which I saw here, it's okay, on page 39. On page 39, yes, we have a retained earning, no, sorry, there's, we have a retained earning and we have share premium account of about 2 billion something, which of course can reduce the retained earning. Once it's reduced, our rates will now be to clean it up and be able to pay dividend. I'm coming. Even page 39, if you look at item 2 there, under the result for the year, you will see what has happened there. Despite the fact of 120, profit of 120, you see the tax, you see everything that went in there and then destroy the profit already made. We need to be very, very careful. The 16 million shareholders are not happy. And I want to tell you this very clearly as a leader of Nigerian shareholders. But we continue to say, okay, let's see. Okay, now I got to where I want to refer you to, page 53 of the annual report. Under the equity, you have the share premium at almost 3 billion naira there. 3 billion naira as against retained earning of 4 billion naira. I'm sure you've seen it, sir. So we can jungle this, use the share premium account, which is ours, to reduce this, so that the retained earning in deficit will be reduced by almost 50%. And from there, we start working to clear up that, because again, it's very important that we should clear it before thinking of paying dividends, except we ask for special dispensation to pay dividend. Mr. Chairman, I want to quickly refer us to another page that I also look at very clearly. Trade and other payables. If you look at trade and other payables on page 57, now, as much as we are paying insurance claims, we should also not owe people. We must try to reduce whatever we're, despite the fact that it pays us to owe than being owed. But if you look at it as at last previous year, we were only owing 573 million naira. This year, we are now owing 1,752 million naira. So we should also encourage people that are doing business with us by defraying their bills when it comes. And this will give us a better image. So I looked at that and I decided to bring it up here so that we can look at these things. On page, I am happy that this reporting is telling us that after all the problems, we still have about 12 billion. Benson, if I'm correct, on page 87, just go to page 87 because it is in thousands of naira. So everything should be either in billions or naira. Have you seen that cash and cash equivalent, Benson? You've seen it. Is it 12 billion or is 12 million? Okay. But you know, in thousands of naira, that means there is 3 zeros that need to be added to that. 12 billion. Aha. If we are having 12 billion in cash and cash equivalent, it means that we are very buoyant. So we won't have any problem in clearing the retained earning of 4 billion with the 2 billion from a share premium account. We can easily do that and clear it. And that will even attract people, attract more investment in Royal Exchange PLC. The board should look at that, provided this is a clean money that is not just part of the financial jungling. Mr. Chairman, I believe that the report that have been given to our able Company Secretary Sheila, when it gets to you, I believe you will have more opinion about our position about the account because we hardly repeat what we sent to any company. Another thing, Mr. Chairman, is the shortness of tenure of executive directors. If you look at page, I saw it in this annual report, a page actually talked about the structure. Now, how can you ask an executive director tenure to be 2 years? If we're actually spending money in training them, to me, it looks like a waste. 2 years. We have to take another look at that non-executive directors are 3 years, which is okay because they are actually re-electable. But for the executive directors, I really get worried about that. I saw it in this annual report that our executive, it's actually on page 22. It says the executive director's appointment is based on contractual agreement of 2 years and may be renewed for another term subject to satisfactory annual performance. Yeah, I agree at that, but the shortness of 2 years, that's why we are probably having sometimes a high turnover of executives. We have to review it. We have to review that. So, I also saw something about training. Mr. Chairman, the write-up here is telling us that training is very important. But have you been able to send your audit committee members to a better training, other than one-day training that some of the consultants always do in Lagos here? How many of the directors have you sent on corporate governance training overseas or any? So they're also entitled to training so that you can get the best out of them. And this training itself will have, I think it has something in taxation that you can claim on it. So the more you're able to train, you get good materials, especially your staff and other members of the structure of Royal Exchange. I will implore you, Mr. Chairman, that you should please do something on exposing them to corporate governance and other things. Mr. Chairman, I want to once again thank you for the opportunity and especially thank Sheila for her effort in making sure that this AGM holds very well. I think she's been on the road talking to all of us that please, 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 please. But bear it in mind that I said it very clearly, shareholders are not happy with you because you haven't done what you are supposed to do. Even 5 kobo means a lot to us. We are losing both ways. We are losing capital appreciation, we are losing in dividend, we are losing everywhere. So, and we are not challenging whatever you earn for directors. We are not challenging that, but please, the seed providers are very important when you talk about a company. Whatever is the position of the balance sheet, the seed providers will always be number one to get the respect. I want to thank the staff of Royal Exchange, and please extend my appreciation on behalf of shareholders to the man that left and those who are still waiting on the board. Mr. Chairman, thank you for your new look. Thank you. God bless all of you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wilson. I'm happy you like my new look. Okay, Madam, please. Mrs. Stops. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, directors, audit committee members, and regulatory authorities, and my fellow shareholders, good morning to you. My name is Mrs. Oludewafor. I associate myself with all the encomiums, suggestions that have been, and questions have been put to the board. I just have a few to add to it. The fact that we are holding this meeting shows that at least our head is above water, but then there's still a lot to be done. I start from page 17, where we have there's the advert on the smart agri. In these days of climate change, I think it's the right thing to have that kind of crop protection index insurance. My question is, how is it faring? How is it accepted among the farming community? If it is indeed accepted, I know it will go a long way. So I would like to know how well it's accepted. Then in the chairman's speech on page 21, I think he told us about the upgrade of the website, and in these days that the world is going digital, we have been told that the website has been upgraded to enable clients to log in and purchase insurance. And there's a call center is on for 24 hours. So my question is, what kind of result are we getting? Are people patronizing? Are people visiting it to buy insurance? Do our agents have to just sit in their office and expect the insurance product to be giving them the results? Then the same page 21, my fellow shareholders have asked questions on the capitalization plan. I will just ask again that where are we? I note that we have been told that some of them will be completed by the end of September 2021, and another one by the end of the fourth quarter of 2021 too. So where are we in them? I look at page 23 and 32 of the report, I kind of say to myself that it's like we are not certain how many directors that we have. In the board attendance, we have 8. In the list of directors, we have 5. While there is explanation as to why 2 names are not there, one can think of the explanation of why 2 names are not there, but there's no explanation as to the omission of Mr. Daniel Majerie. There's no explanation as to why his name does not appear on page 32, for instance. Then if you look at page 23, 60, and 101 to 106. Just open it. If you look at page 23, you would observe that our board was expected to meet 4 times, but the board met 10 times. That immediately showed me that our problems are not yet over. When a board meets so many times, it's a pointer that there is a deep issue which has to be decided upon. So I was not surprised, really, when I opened to page 60 and saw that there was the issue of going concern. The fact that there is a report about going concern in this annual report, it showed me that we have not come out of the woods. We have not come out of the woods. And reading through the report, I saw that a paragraph there says the remaining only 2 subsidiaries, the Royal Exchange General Insurance and the Royal Exchange Finance Company, were profitable. It means that 4 out of the 4 listed here, the Royal Exchange PLC, Royal Exchange Prudential Life, Royal Exchange Healthcare, and Royal Exchange Microfinance are problematic. 2 out of 6 is a failure. So our board, we still need to sit up. We still need to sit up. If you look again at pages 32 to 38 and also page 7, it appears that our board, we don't like women. The 35% affirmative action for women is nothing. This board, our company is not even thinking about it. I know that our late Chief Odogu was one who used to think of us women. I remember that many years ago when we went to Barbados, he was there with us. He even threw a party for us, Sir Optimist. When he came with us to the meeting. So I know that he loves women, loves us as women. Please, we need women on the board. We have just been told that the independent, you need 3 other, is it 2 more independent directors? Please, there should be 2 women that will come on board. Please, if you look at page 176 of this report, 176 of this report, you see under staff there. I congratulate our company that in this year of 2020 of difficult year of 2020, we increased our staff by 36. However, if you look at staff cost, I note that the staff cost, especially for the group, is on page 177. The staff cost went down, salaries, wages, and allowances. I began to wonder if the staff, the numbers have gone up, why would the cost go down? I began to wonder, are we paying what we should pay? We know that if we pay peanuts, we'll get rats. And I am sure that we don't want rats. And we need to treat our staff well. So I suggest that we look into these issues. Mr. Chairman, I commend the company for the level of disclosure in this report. I was really pleased to see that it's almost like you have nothing to hide, which is a good thing. I want to urge you to keep it up. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Thorpe. And I think that ends the question from the floor. First of all, I think it's important that I explain the background, and we take ourselves back to 2007, when Royal Exchange was transformed from Royal Exchange, a composite company, Royal Exchange Assurance Nigeria PLC, and it became a group company to Royal Exchange PLC. We have 5 subsidiaries under that group company: Regic, Life, Healthcare, Microfinance, and Finance. And those 5 companies are limited liability companies. PLC is group. So, and each of those companies have their board, have their chairman. And then on top of them, we have committees in each of those companies and committees at the group level. So we have a very challenging, cumbersome structure, and a structure that is, our risks also increased, and our costs also increased. But what we found over the years was that obviously capital was dissipating, and we found the need to now look for investors that could probably run the business better than us at the subsidiary level. We found out that it was better to have people that must have skin in the game at the subsidiary levels, because obviously if you just bring in management and they're just earning salary alone, it's not good enough. We also wanted a situation where we would be able to get management involved in the shareholding of the company. That's underway anyway. But with Regic, which is Royal Exchange General Insurer, hello? Okay. But with Regic, which is Royal Exchange General Insurance, we've been successful. We started because it represents about 70% of our, more than 70% probably, of our revenue base. The other 4 subsidiaries add 30%. So Regic was a company that's doing well, and we knew it could do much, much better. And we intend within the next 3 years to double, and if possible, triple within the next 3 to 4 years, our revenue base. So we decided to bring in investors that would not just bring in capital, but will also bring in technical expertise. So we are happy with that with BO, who are very strong in impact investing, and we're happy with the recent investment of Afrinvest from Tunisia. And they're very strong in the financial space. With these two companies coming in, Regic has become positioned for very major growth. There's no doubt about it. Because the problem we were having was that because there was not a lot of, because the capital was depleting, and obviously management at the time wasn't able to meet up. The majority of our premium was coming from one section, but it's very concentrated in oil and gas. So what's happened over time was that we had to start generating revenue outside that, and we were focusing on areas of retail, especially retail, as opposed to just focusing on the traditional broker-driven business. So we've changed our management that will, change all that and will give us more retail and less reliance on oil and gas. And I believe that we're now positioned for massive, massive growth, and we're very confident about it. We've brought in a fantastic board in Regic, and I'll talk for Regic now because we're going to replicate the same thing in all the subsidiaries. We've brought in the chairman of that board. He's a very well-known chairman, Mr. Ike Chioke, then we have other board members like Mr. Mehdi from Tunisia, Mr. Ernesto Costa from Switzerland, and we have Mr. Owolabi, who was the MD of one of the multinational companies in Nigeria, insurance companies, very strong in the retail area. We've brought in Mrs. Ogodazi, who is head of HR, Human Resource Management, because we found that HR was a big problem for us in the entire company. So you need to have very well motivated and strong managers, and she's obviously been a very, very prominent player in the HR. We've never had a HR director in the company before. We also have Mr. Nnamdi Oragu, and then of course Alhaji Gwazo, who's the chairman of the Northern Flour Mills for now. But we've got very prominent people in the Regic. And we intend to replicate that all along. We've also got a very good risk manager from Tunisia. And the conversation on that board is totally different, especially he's been very effective in the area of audits. So, like I said, that company has been fully recapitalized. I'll call the GM, is he here? Yeah, the MD, to explain that's how that process is going. And I think all the requirements have been met. But I'll still call him because it's important I put him on the spot. With regards to the other subsidiaries, I know that the biggest problem we probably have, and it's not really a problem, it's just a challenge, is Repro. Because obviously it's slightly insolvent, but we have a plan to change all that, and that is ongoing right now. In fact, hopefully before the end of this year or beginning of next year, we'll be able to get out of that situation. With regards to the other subsidiaries, they're not such big problems. They don't really add as much, to the bottom line as we know that they can. But they are still in very good industries. We know what happened last year, and with the economy, and hopefully it will not happen this year. But we've adjusted, and the job is ongoing. So with regards to recapitalization, perfect in Regic. The others are ongoing processes, and I'm sure that we'll get there. Let me just, before I continue with the rest, maybe I'll call MD. Please come and fill us in on what is happening with regards to Regic. He's the MD of Regic. Okay.
All protocols of ladies and gentlemen, as you have heard from the group chairman, currently the recap as Nikon had brought out earlier is suspended, but the board had decided to fully capitalize Regic, and we have exceeded the threshold of 10 billion. That is the position. And the board had been fully reconstituted too, made of eminent ladies and gentlemen, as the chairman has enumerated. Thank you, sir.
With regards to the requirements, MD, with regards to the statutory requirements, like Mr. Okozie was asking about, can you please fill them in, or if you want, you can ask the company secretary.
The statutory requirement, as Nikon had directed, is 10 billion, and we have achieved that 10 billion. Nikon had approved it. Currently, we have started using the money. The money is being used. As you are aware, some entities took Nikon to court and secured the injunction. So currently, Nikon cannot address anything concerning recap, but the recap had been concluded. That is the position. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I'd like to recognize the entry of Mrs. Olayinka Ohonyan, who is the representative of the Corporate Affairs Commission. Thank you. So where does that leave us? I think it leaves us with, I would say, 60% of the job is done. It's an ongoing process. With regards to what we will see going forward, we'll see a lot more expenses in the area of digital transformation and marketing. Obviously, we are changing our brand. We're becoming more retail focused. We're going to still do our brokerage, but we're going to do focus more on the retail space. So I think that general statement pretty much covers a lot of the details that, if you want, I can go to the details, but I don't think you need that, having received the general statement. Okay, that's...
Chairman, I want to also advise the MD that we cannot use the Nikon lapses, whatever, because they call for it, whatever, they call for it. So if the money are approved, we deploy our money fully to do our business. Their court injunction, they say, have nothing to do with any company, insurance sector. That's the truth.
Yes, I will tell you that NICOM has been very helpful and very useful. The funds are not tied up, and we'll use it, for the reasons it's supposed to be used for. Thank you very much. I think on that note, I would like us to make progress. If there's any other... okay. I don't think there's any other question anyway. So there'll be no further comments and questions. And the annual report and financial statements for the year ended December 31, 2020, having been presented, and members having made comments and notations, we could proceed to the next matter of the agenda. The next business of the day is the re-election of directors. Alhaji Rufai Mohammed and Mr. Adeyinka Ojera are not present with us, but they are online. Are the directors retiring by rotation? In accordance with the Articles of Association of the company, the directors being eligible offer themselves for re-election. To facilitate the ready conclusion of this business, members may wish to pass a resolution for the re-election of the directors retiring by rotation as a single resolution. I now propose that the re-election of Alhaji Rufai Mohammed and Mr. Adeyinka Ojera, the two directors retiring by rotation, be by a single resolution. Will a shareholder please second the resolution?
I rise to second the motion. My name is Alaja Sarata Iyabode Balogun.
Thank you so much, Evangel. Thank you so much, Mrs. Balogun. I now propose that Ahmed and Mr. Adeyinka Ojera, the directors retiring by rotation, being eligible, offering themselves for re-election, be and are hereby re-elected directors of the company. May shareholder please second the motion?
She has seconded.
Yeah, I shall second it, but okay, those in favor, please raise your hands. Okay, declaration, resolution carried. Thank you very much.
For the resolution to re-elect Alhaji Ahmed Rufai Mohammed and Mr. Adeyinka Ojera as directors, we have a total of 100% of the total votes cast. Vote in favor of the resolution for 3,397,756,090 units of Real Exchange PLC shares. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Sorry, my notes are a little disorganized. Okay, thank you. I therefore declare the resolution unanimously carried. The next business of the day is to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the external auditors in accordance with Section 408, subsection A of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 for the financial year ending December 31st, 2021. Section 408, subsection B, the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 also stipulates that the remuneration of the external auditors shall be determined by the company in a general meeting or in such manner as the company in a general meeting may determine. I now propose that the directors be and are hereby authorized to fix the remuneration of the external auditors for the year ending December 31, 2021. Will a shareholder please second the resolution?
Yes. Chairman, I rise to second that motion. Okay, Sir Boniface, and there should no further increase for this year.
Point taken. I declare the resolution carried. May I now call upon the registrars to announce the results of the proxy?
For the resolution to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors, we have 100% of the total vote cast. Vote in favor of the resolution for 3,397,756,090 units of Real Exchange PLC shares. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I declare the resolution unanimously carried. The next business of the day is to disclose the remuneration of the managers in Royal Exchange PLC. Section 257 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 mandates that the compensation of managers of a company shall be disclosed to the members of the company at the annual general meeting. The remuneration of the managers in Royal Exchange PLC is contained under Note 61, page 176 of the annual reports. Members are enjoined to note the foregoing. Thank you. There being no comments and questions, we can proceed to the next item in the agenda. Thank you. The next business of the day is the election of shareholders of the company to the Statutory Audit Committee for the financial year ending December 31, 2021. Section 404, subsection 2 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 mandates that each public company shall establish an audit committee. Section 404, subsection 3 of the Act provides that the audit committee shall consist of 5 members comprising of 3 members and 2 non-executive directors. The members of the audit committee are not entitled to remuneration and are subject to election annually. The board has approved that the following 3 directors should serve on the Statutory Audit Committee for the financial year ended December 31, 2021. They are Chief Ikemefuna Anthony Idigbe, SAN, Mr. Adeyinka Ojora, Mr. Hewitt Benson. The company secretary received 72 nominations for the following members to represent the shareholders' interest on the audit committee. I don't think there's any need to mention all 72 names. The company secretary also received withdrawals from 69 of the nominees. In view of these withdrawals, I'm informed that the previous audit committee shareholders thereby stand unopposed. These shareholders represented are sitting members of the Statutory Audit Committee and have signified their intention to continue to serve and represent the shareholders' interest on the committee. And I propose that the re-election of Ayodele Sarat Kudaisi, Olawi Tajuddin Alabi, Bekumi Akinsholu. Thank you very much. To the Audit Committee of the year ending in December. Yes. Excuse me, just a second, please. Okay. Please, Mr.
Yeah. Chairman, my observation that you mentioned the 3 directors' representatives, but I think for the new law now, the board will have only 2 members, joined with the 3 shareholders' minorities. That's how it stands. So you have to remove 1 director from your place, and allow 2 to serve. That's the norm. That's how it goes. So there can't be 3 directors and 3 shareholders. No. It's 2, 3. That's the new law.
Can I have my company secretary just fill in on that, please? Thank you very much for that information. Maybe you can say something.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Boniface. We hope to rectify that from the following year. So from the following year to be from 2022. Okay. Fine. Yes. We 2020 says 5 directors. Okay.
It's already in force, so we have to propose 2 directors.
Okay, so we'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that information. Point taken. And we'll definitely make those adjustments. Okay, will a shareholder please second the resolution?
Chairman, if you amend that law now, because I don't want more penalty again to be paid.
No.
If you amend that law now, you have to name the 5 now, the 2 directors and the 3. Then we'll have to pass the resolution. That's all.
Can you guide me on that. Exchange, yes.
What the resolution says to elect 3 members of the audit committee representing shareholders.
Yes, yes.
So it didn't say you should.
Exactly.
So
I don't go back to the company.
And tell us that you will bring out the other 2 members, or the board will meet and
yes, of course.
their 2 members. But these 3 members should not be mentioned there as these 3 directors shouldn't be mentioned.
Right. Okay, so please, shareholders, allow us to go back to the board and we'll choose the 2 members that's
okay,
that's
I support the motion.
Yes.
That will have 5 members, 2 from the directors and 3 for share to serve in the year.
Yes.
I support the motion.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So I declare the resolution carried. May I now call upon members to indicate by show of hands those in favor? Thank you. Those against? Thank you. I declare the resolution unanimously carried. The following 3 persons are elected to represent the shareholders on the audit committee for the year ending December 31st, 2020. Could I see Sarat Ayodele? Olawi Tajuddin Alabi? Bekumi Akinshelu? Thank you. We'll go back and choose our 2 directors. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the formal business of the annual general meeting. I now declare this meeting closed. I thank you on behalf of the board, management, and staff of your company for attending this meeting and showing much interest in the affairs of your company. Thank you very much. God bless you all.